Hello students, grade 10. This is quarter 1, and in this quarter we are going to study plants, and we are beginning with introduction to plants and its origin. First, plants are made from cells known as eukaryotic cells. Plant is a multicellular organism made from eukaryotic cells. Eukaryote means that it's made from cells containing a true nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Membrane-bound organelles like the mitochondria and chloroplast. Plants are characterized with a thick cell wall made from a polysaccharide carbohydrate known as cellulose. This is a polysaccharide carbohydrate forming the cell wall of the plant. Another characteristic figure for plants are the cuticle. Cuticle is a waxy waterproof coat surrounding the leaves and the stems of the plant. Cuticle is important for plant because it helps in reducing water loss from the plant leaves and stems. Most plants are able to produce their own food. They are autotrophs because they can carry out a process known as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis allows plants to produce their own food using light from the sun, carbon dioxide gas from air, and some nutrients from the soil. This is the cuticle. It's a coat surrounding stems and leaves from upper part and lower part. It prevents the dehydration and protect the plant. There are many hypotheses about the existence or the origin of plants. Some scientists consider that plants evolved from a certain kind of algae lived very long ago in ancient oceans. They think so because there are some common characters between this green algae and plant groups. What are these common characters? Number 1, they both have cell walls containing cellulose in its structure. Also, both groups, green algae and plants, use the same type of chlorophyll in the photosynthesis process, and they both store food as the same kind of starch. Plants first began to appear in a fossil record 440 million years ago, so plants are one of the most ancient living organisms on Earth. But at this time, plants used to be without any leaves. There are 3 main basic structures or organs of leaves, stems, and roots. Leaves, stems, and roots. Let's start with leaf. Leaves have many shapes and colors. They are also arranged in different ways from one species to another. The size of the leaf itself can range from very large diameter as 2 meters, and it could be as small as 1 millimeter in length. In the growing season, number of leaves the plant can produce vary from very few to hundreds or even thousands produced by a mature hardwood tree. Leaf is a very important plant organ, grows out from the stem, and it is the organ mainly responsible for the photosynthesis process. The photosynthesis process is important because it allows the plant to get its own food. These are different sizes, shapes, and colors of different leaves from different plants. This is the inside structure of the leaf. The second part important in the plant is the root. The root is a plant organ responsible for absorbing water from the soil and deliver it to the stem, and from the stem to the leaf. Also, it's responsible for delivering nutrients found in the soil. What are the main function of root? Its main function is to anchor the plant to the ground, to transport nutrients from the soil to the stem. Also, some roots can act as food storage place for the plant. These are examples of root plants: radishes and sweet potato. They act as a food storage structure. The third part of the plant is the stem. The stem is a plant organ which allows support for the plant to grow in an appropriate way. Stem also help to move water from the root and transport it to the leaves, which use this water to carry out photosynthesis. Also, stem will move sugars produced from the leaves back to the roots. So again, stem move water from roots to the leaves, and after food production, stem will transfer sugars produced by the leaves to the roots to provide it with nutrients or to store some of it. The stem contains tissues for transporting food, water, and other materials from one part of the plant to another, from the leaves to the root and from the root to the leaf. Some stems can act like the root as a food storage structure, and other stems, the green stems, they can act or take some of the role of the leaves by carrying out photosynthesis. You can classify plants into two types according to presence or absence of what is known as vascular tissues. If vascular tissues are found in the plant, it's called vascular plants. If it's absent, it's called non-vascular plants. Starting with the vascular plants. Most of the plants we know are vascular plants, like roses and pine trees. This means that they have vascular tissues in its parts. Vascular tissues, as you see in the picture, are made of tube-like long cells through which water and nutrients can move. So, in case of vascular plants, water and nutrients can move faster from one part of the plant to the other. This is a cut section in the stem of a vascular tissue. Vascular tissue are mainly composed of xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. Okay, what about non-vascular plants? We said that non-vascular plants don't have vascular tissues inside its parts. So the nutrients and water don't move as fast as in vascular plants. These are examples of non-vascular plants. This is called liverwort plant. Other examples of non-vascular plant are mosses and. So, if non-vascular plants don't have vascular tissues, how can nutrients and water pass through parts of this plant? They can move from one cell to another by a process known as osmosis or diffusion. This is the diffusion process. Okay, the nutrients or water molecules, okay, will flow through this permeable wall, okay, to the next cell. And when the amount of nutrients or liquid are equal, the flow will stop. This is the osmosis process. In this case, this is a permeable wall. These gray small circles are the water molecules, and these bigger circles are another kind of molecules. In this case, the permeability is selective, meaning that it will allow the water molecules only to be passed from this side to the other side, because the pores between parts of the wall are big enough for the water molecules to be transported, but it's not big enough for the other molecules to be transported. This is a quick comparison between vascular and non-vascular plants. We said that vascular plants will contain vascular tissues like most of the plants on earth. These plants will include xylem and phloem in their parts, especially in the stem, to allow the transportation of water molecules and nutrients. In case of non-vascular plants, remember, like the liverwort, okay, they don't have any vascular tissues. They lack the presence of xylem and phloem, okay, so they can transport nutrients and water only through diffusion or osmosis. This is the seed. The seed is also a plant organ containing the embryo plant, and also it will contain the food supply important for the whole plant to grow, and it's covered with a hard protective coat to prevent the loss of these important nutrients. So what are the functions of seed? First, the seed will protect the embryo by its hard protective coat from drying out. Also, this is the way of the plant reproduction. When the seed gets inserted inside the soil, it will grow to a new plant. This was a simple introduction to the plants, the origin and main parts of the plant. See you next session, and thanks for listening.